everybody. Welcome back to the Chill Spot Podcast. Got a special guest with us here today. It's Sam Mercury. Everyone give it up for Sam.
Woo! Yeah! Woo!
So, Sam.
Thank you for having me.
You are the leader of the free world.
I am. I was recently, I took it over. I'm a dictator. I simply just said enough and I shot everybody and now I'm leader of the free world.
That is how that works, right? Medieval rules. Like if I kill you and you're the king, well, I'm the king now.
I'm the king now.
You know?
Yeah, I'm the king now, baby.
So tell us, what's your first thing you're going to do in office?
I am going to institute a speed minimum on the sidewalks. You have to go a minimum of, let's say, like 3 kilometers per hour on all sidewalks. And if you go too slow, I will fucking laser your ass. I will fucking laser your ass.
Right.
Move it. Move faster.
Okay, so now I gotta ask.
Hefty fines for holding hands and like causing a Red Rover situation on the sidewalks. Fuck you.
So you confirming that you're making Red Rover illegal in the United States?
Red Rover is now completely and totally outlawed.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, it was a bold choice, but you rode your platform all the way up to the biggest office in the States and killed the president.
Yeah.
So, you know,
I
good
can
for
make
you.
those, I can make those rules now.
First woman president, first woman dictator.
Yep. I don't think I'm the first woman dictator, but in history. But like, you know, certainly it's been a while, especially for a woman of color.
Well, I got to
feel
ask
really
you the question that everyone's been burning to ask you.
Oh my God, tell me.
All right, so I got the hottest thing here.
Okay, I want to know.
Can you give me $1 million now that you're the leader of the free world?
I'm trying to run like a grant program kind of deal. So
to give
like
me $1 million?
So you have to argue to me why you think that you deserve, like, what do you want $1 million for?
Well, I would really like to order in for the rest of my life and eat from whatever restaurant I want and not have to work and play video games all day.
Do you think $1 million will cover that?
At least for a little while. I could turn some of that $1 million into more money. That's how that works, right?
Okay, but if I see you using it on education or some dumb shit like that, like, I'm coming for you, mate.
You're coming straight for me.
Keep receipts because like when you're out of $1 million, like, I want to make sure that you didn't give a homeless man $2 or something like that. Like, I want to make sure
it's my money and it has to stay with me.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put homeless people out in the streets to surveil you and like make sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to be paying them, so like I'm also solving the homeless problem by doing this.
Yeah.
So like, don't come for me.
That's part of your platform. You implored the homeless in your coup army.
I implored them.
You implored them.
I was like, please, work for me, please. I'm a dictator, please.
Hey, don't you fucking hate people who have houses? Don't you want a house?
Don't you want a house?
And they're like, yeah, I do want
me.
a fucking house.
I'm about to overthrow the government.
Here, take this gun, kill your neighbor. Your non-existent neighbor. But either way, now that bit's done, thanks for tuning into the Chill Spot Podcast,
Welcome to the
everyone.
Chill Spot Podcast, everyone. How'd I do, Cam? How'd my improv skills go? Thank you.
There, hang on, you can do better than that. There. Whoa, you hear that fucking echo in this room?
Sick. That was sexy.
Yeah, it was pretty sexy.
Absolutely.
So, Sam, what's up?
Cam?
Why? Never mind. What's up?
I don't know. Our names rhyme. Go with it. Not much, man. I'm just fucking hanging out, living life, feeling good, feeling better. Been feeling better lately. I came up with I know in the last 2 episodes, I was like complaining about like talking about my shit, but like I'm gonna talk about my shit for a sec here.
Yeah, for someone who doesn't like talk about your shit, you do it all the time.
Around other people, not when I'm broadcasting to the entire world, but I'm trying to get over that. Anyways, if I came up with a concept for my play, well, I didn't. I mean, like, my partner and I did it together.
It was collaborative. That means you did do it.
Yeah. Well, like, I had a hand in it. I had a significant hand in it, and that's good enough for me. We came up with a concept for my play and how, like what the character is doing when she encounters the problem that I want her to face. So it was a breakthrough moment, and it felt really good. And I'm excited.
Good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
In the meantime, I've been playing the Halo games again in a really productive turn of events.
You had something really cool happen to you too, though, and I know it hasn't been like set in stone. Well, maybe you don't want to talk about it then.
Well, no, it hasn't been. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
but I'll talk about it when it's 100% confirmed.
Yeah, but Cameron has something really exciting on the horizon.
So be sure to tune into the next Chill Spot podcast.
Yeah,
where hopefully we can talk about.
Hopefully by the next Chill Spot podcast, it's set in stone still. But yes, you've been playing the Halo games.
Yeah, so I grew up with in my teen years, the console that I had was an Xbox 360. Like most people who were in high school the same time as I
The same time as I has.
The same time as I has many shoot go alien poop. So Halo and Gears of War are two games that I grew up with.
Cool.
In a way.
Yeah.
At least in my adolescence, right?
Yeah.
So I have an Xbox One now, and all of the Halo games are on there. So I was like, you know what? These games aren't terribly long. Like, I'm just going to play them because I really, really like Halo. Halo is super good. And I've been really enjoying the first one. I'm almost done it, actually. And I've been playing the last couple nights. And it's amazing because the game, I think, came out in like 2001 or 2002.
Yeah.
And it holds up remarkably well.
That's awesome.
It's just amazing how I showed you the old graphics today.
Yeah, because you can like switch.
You can switch between them because it's the anniversary version. So you can play the updated graphics or you can play the old graphics. And quite frankly, I think the old graphics hold up rather well.
That's cool.
Like, they were a little muddy, but like it also came out like 20 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
Or 19 years ago.
Yeah.
So, you know. Yeah. But no, the story is really good in Halo. Have you ever played a Halo game?
No.
So, long story short, the first Halo game starts in the middle of this war between the Earth and the UNSC.
Yeah, red versus blue. Got it.
yeah. I know Rooster Teeth. And then the Covenant, which are like aliens.
Okay.
So,
sorry, who are the opposing sides again? I made a joke and I wasn't paying attention.
Nice. It was the UNSC.
Okay.
Which is the Earth people. The Marines is what they're called.
Okay.
And the Covenant, which are groups of alien races underneath this like religious like hierarchy being told what to do. So they're at war with one another. Covenant want to kill the UNSC, and the UNSC just wants to fucking leave them alone.
Yeah.
So the game starts with you running away in a big ass ship from the Covenant, and then you discover the first Halo ring. Okay. So what the Halo is it's called a ring world. It's a giant planet-sized ring in space that has like a whole world on it, and then you sort of uncover the mysteries of it. And something I really like about it that they really had done up until that point in like storytelling in video games is that there's so much mystery in Halo because you start in the middle of a story, frankly, because you start and like you're getting chased and you don't know what the fuck's going on, and like someone mentions Reach and you're like, what the hell is that? And then like you just fucking end up on Halo.
Yeah.
And then you learn more about the Covenant and Halo through like the way you play the game. And the story gets really compelling.
Okay. Very cool.
And it gets really good to Halo 3.
Yeah.
And then it goes right out the fucking window. At least in my opinion.
And then they just like throw the concept away.
Well, Halo 4 was super okay. And Halo 5 is not good.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's disappointing.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's awesome. I'd love to watch you play it and get more familiar with the story and get caught up and see what it's about.
Maybe we'll stream it if people are interested.
I don't think you have to wait for people to be interested. I think you can just start streaming Halo at any time.
Well, maybe we're about to finish God of War tonight.
Yes.
Which is going to be completely irrelevant to those listening next Tuesday.
Yeah, 100% because the stream will have already happened. But I'm so excited for that.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, like, I might, people are really good about super cutting cutscenes together so you can watch the cutscenes on YouTube as if they were a movie.
Yeah.
And I might just go back and do that with God of War, to be perfectly honest.
Before we stream
because
tonight?
like while you're after we're done, because while you're streaming, like we're hosting and I'm talking to people.
You're also the chat girl.
And I'm interacting. Yeah. And like, when you, especially with these Sony exclusives, like with Last of Us and Last of Us 2, it was like this a lot where it's like, we're busy, being hosts and talking to people. And like while we're streaming, I'm also genuinely excited to talk to the people in our stream.
Because we have a cool ass little community.
We have a cool ass little community, and I actually really care about everybody in it a whole lot. And like, if you've ever been curious about our streams, you hear us hyping it up, like, please join. I love talking to everybody. And like, while we're friends, sometimes I worry that because we're starting to get like real community, like people feel like it's a clique that you like can't get into. And it's like, no, if you come and you talk about yourself and you ask questions and we ask you questions back and you answer them, like, I want to talk to you and I'm interested in you. So like, do that. But in doing that, I miss stuff, like I have to talk through cutscenes. I have to talk through the beginnings of cutscenes. So I miss some references and stuff like that. So like, I understand what's going on in God of War, but I don't 100% know every single detail. And I love to know every single detail, especially with something like God of War, which obviously has a lot of effort put into it.
Right.
So I feel like, some people are like, oh, you can come into the scene as long as somebody's there to, Cam's there to explain it to you. You can get the gist of it. No, I like to really listen to a story and catch every detail and like fully immerse myself. So I would like to get fully
especially
immersed.
Like you said in a game like God of War where the narrative is so well thought out.
Yeah.
It's like playing The Last of Us, but like, I don't know, listening to music while you do it.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You're doing the game a disservice
exactly.
by not paying attention to the narrative.
Exactly. And of course, like, different strokes for different folks. It's all opinion based, but that's just not how I like to enjoy stories, And like, like I even try to do the thing. My favorite thing to do is to play games on my phone while a TV show is on in the background.
Sure.
And like, I find that hard to do though. Even if I put on a show, I will put on Big Mouth, which I have seen like 17 fucking times all the way through, like all 3 seasons. And like, I'll still catch myself like watching that over playing the game. But I kind of like I like having like both things up and running and then like choosing which one I want to pay attention to.
Luckily, Gardenscapes and these phone games you play don't like demand your attention.
Yeah, and you can kind of like stop playing them at any given time and it doesn't fucking matter.
Who cares?
Because there's nothing else going on. Like you can't like play Among Us and watch TV at the same time.
No, it would be hard. You definitely need to pay attention.
you would have to choose. You would have to be one of those people who are like, oh, I love background noise. Can I just say, I fucking hate background noise. Like,
really?
I don't think, and this might be, I think I mentioned before, I'm in the process of trying to find out if I have ADHD because like I looked up some symptoms and it got real scary, like scarily accurate, really described me, didn't appreciate that. And
it felt like it was kind of calling you out a little bit?
Yeah, there were some tweets that like called me out and I was like, hey, this isn't like a I do that thing. Yeah. This is a how the fuck did you know I do that thing?
Right.
How did you know?
Who are you?
Yeah.
What did you do with my mom?
and then I went to a legitimate ADHD resource and like filled out some checklists and sent them off to my doctor and I'm figuring it out and it's like it's looking like I have that. But like if I have this like attention issue, this focusing issue, like background noise is actually very, very, very frustrating.
It'd be detrimental to you paying attention. Yeah.
Like I have been in situations where I'm at a party. This has happened at your parents' Christmas party. I'm at your parents' Christmas party and I'm talking to one of your parents' friends and it's like one of your parents' close friends. And I really, really want to make a good impression on them. And I want to pay attention to the conversation, actively listen to what they have to say and respond, like a conversation.
Like a human being, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, and then a song that I know will come on in the background because it's a party and music is playing. Mm-hmm. And I cannot, for the life of me, focus on the person. All I hear is the song. And I have to work. It's like thinking about breathing. I have to consciously fade out the song with my brain and focus on what the person is saying, but my brain fights me.
Yeah. Like I know what that's like, yeah.
You know how some people say, like, I can do this too, you can like choose to unfocus your eyes?
Yeah, like a wide focus.
It's like I'm doing that with my brain, It's like I'm doing that with my brain, but my brain is fighting me and unfocusing on purpose.
Yeah.
And it's like,
someone's like,
my God.
So how's your career going? That's really great. In the back, and it's just like,
I got a feeling.
Eileen.
Yeah, and then I'm like, okay, cool. Come on, and then I acknowledge it, and I'm like, okay, Come On Eileen is playing in the background. Okay, cool. I know the songs to Come On Eileen. I will hear Come On Eileen some other time in my life. I don't have to listen to this song right now, whereas I will never have this conversation again with somebody. Focus on the conversation, Sam.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the person is like, so, blah, 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 your career, and like, that's so interesting about your play that you want to talk about, blah, blah, blah. And then like, slowly but surely, my brain just goes, Come on, Eileen.
Yeah, so
and then it's like, I didn't hear what the person just
said. Totally.
It's like, focus again. And then I'm like, okay. Come on, Eileen.
Yeah,
and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, it's like, so tell me about your next project. And you're like, come on, I let you.
And I have done the slip thing where I'm like, yes, so like, Come On, Eileen. Oh, I'm sure it's a scene. I mean, like I say the lyrics.
Yeah.
Because like I'm trying to answer, but what's dominating in my head right now are the lyrics to Come On Eileen. And it's extra embarrassing because I don't technically know the words to Come On Eileen.
No one does. Everyone just likes that song.
I just know the sounds to make. Yeah. I just say, Come on, Eileen. Oh, it's so Come on, Eileen.
Yeah.
And it's...
What do you get copyright striked?
And I'm like, I can't even...
What's that band's name? Like the Midnight Riders or something? Sexy Dan's Midnight Riders?
It wasn't the Pretenders.
Hang on, I'll find out.
But yeah, like conversations are. That's why I hate background noise because and can't stand it and can't work with it because it doesn't work for me. Well, as someone I can't focus.
As someone who's slightly hearing impaired, yeah, that's me too. Because if there's multiple noises that sound, my ears are like a mono track.
Yeah.
I take in noise all on the same line.
Right.
So like if you're talking to me and there's noise and there's more noise, like it's just like I can't fucking hear you.
Yeah.
Like and it's really annoying because like sometimes we'll be in a group scenario where like just the other night, like my brother came home for the weekend, which was the best.
Oh, so great. Missed you, Dunk.
And I was trying to talk to my uncle Danny.
Yeah.
And God bless my mom and my brother, but after a couple glasses of wine, they're basically screaming at each other.
Yeah.
Not like maliciously. They're just loud.
No, they're just loud.
And I can't fucking hear anything.
They're Italian.
Danny turns to me and he's like,
yeah.
And I'm like, cool. I didn't hear any of that shit, Danny.
I didn't hear a single word you just said.
All right, 1 sec. Okay, Google. Who wrote "Come On, Eileen" the song?
You're like my mom, like insisting with the voice.
We're on a podcast.
By Dexy's Midnight Runners.
I was close.
Oh, Dexy's
Midnight Runners. I said like Danny's Sexy Riders or something.
Yeah, no, but like that's why I can't do background noise. And like God, the frustrating thing about the thinking that I most likely have ADHD as an adult is looking back at every single time I struggled with something as a child, like as a student in school, and being like, that was fucking ADHD. Are you fucking kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Are you fucking kidding me? Were you paying attention? Was anybody paying attention to me at all?
Right.
Did anybody give a shit about me ever?
Mom?
About anything?
Yeah.
At all? At all?
That was a joke, Mom.
At all.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I was staring out into nothingness. I could stare at a wall for hours as a kid. And nobody said anything.
Right.
What the actual fuck is the matter with the people that were in charge of me? And then I just think about, like, how much I respected authority, how much time I wasted respecting authority as a kid, just to find out that they weren't fucking paying attention to me at all. And I could have come to school with no pants on and no one would have noticed shit about me.
Right.
You know? Like, fuck,
I don't know about that, but yeah.
Holy shit, dude. You know? Like, God.
Right.
It makes me so mad.
I can tell.
It makes me it genuinely makes me mad. And I don't want to go off about it too much because like this is a positive podcast, but like I just just solidarity for anybody else out there who is dealing with naming their mental issues as an adult and like realizing that you always had it even as a kid and just like there was no conversation about it. We as a society just like didn't have the tools to address it or because of, external factors, like I was a girl, girls typically get diagnosed with ADHD less. I was a person of color, like that's not a thing that we have. You're either just like a well-behaved black person or you're not a well-behaved black person.
Okay,
you
sure,
just deal with that your whole fucking life. And, like I see you and I hear you because like, holy shit, am I ever mad? It is maddening.
I mean, I can see why it would be frustrating.
Yeah.
Of course it's frustrating.
Because you think that something's wrong with you. And there's like, there is something wrong with you. But like,
okay, but no, but there's a big difference between knowing and not knowing that something is wrong with you.
Yeah, there's a difference between like, that's Sam, she's a little funny, and that's Sam, she needs help focusing because her brain isn't like connected like the way that it should be in order to do the things that she needs to do in a day. Like, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
I mean, but hey, you know what? Like on a positive spin, like knowing a name for this means you can get things like medication or therapy or tricks to help you deal with it and things are going to get better. So
yeah, but I just think about like how much I struggled with everything. And especially when it comes to the things that I like doing.
Right.
Because when you have like an attention deficit, you find it hard to even do the things that you want to do. So I remember being in university. And being always the last person to learn their lines. And that looks really bad. Like, as an actor,
from an acting perspective, sometimes
it looks really unprofessional and it's very, very frowned upon. And I would be in rehearsal and I would feel so humiliated. I didn't know my lines. You know, like there were some times where it was like 2 weeks before opening and I didn't know like a really huge monologue, like a really important monologue that I had.
Right.
And I would go home and I'd be like, okay, like as soon as I get home, I gotta lock it down. I gotta get nose to the grindstone. I'm motivated. I want to do this. Like, let's fucking go. And then I would get home and I was tired because, you know, like usually I had worked that day already, had a full day of school, and then been at rehearsal for 4 hours. And it's like 10 p.m. when I've been going since 8 o'clock in the morning. But also just like I would open up my book and then I would just stare out of a window.
Mm-hmm. Get distracted
for
by
like
nothing.
an hour.
Yeah. Thinking about stuff.
Like there were literally times, Cam, where like I was like, okay, like lines out, reading, practicing, and then I would like practice for maybe like 5-10 minutes and then stare out of a window. And then an hour had passed. And by the time it's like if rehearsal ends at 10 and I get home at like 10:15, 10:20 and I rehearse for an hour and it's now 11:20, 11:30, I have to go to bed.
Well, yeah, because you have to wake up in like 7 hours.
Yeah. I have to go to bed. And then I, you know, like there's, you know, once again, Sam didn't practice her lines and we're one day closer to opening and that's scary.
Well,
and it's just like,
but you always learn.
Man.
You always got them eventually.
Yeah, but like down to the wire. And I would like to do the professional thing and have my lines memorized at a reasonable time.
Well, I find like you just said, I mean, this obviously, if you know, you're talking about struggling with ADHD, which would definitely not help memorizing lines. But on the other side of things, like I found that memorizing lines on your own is useless, in my opinion. And this is just my opinion because I know there's actors who do not agree with me.
Yeah, everybody's got their process.
In my opinion, the only way that I'm going to learn my lines is rehearsal. Is to go into the room and do a scene like 10 times and then like on the 5th time, put the book down and just try. Like have them feed you lines, you know, like literally like struggle for like 3 rehearsals.
Right.
And then, you know, take 10, you might actually have it down.
Yeah.
You know, because the book is always a crutch, right? When it comes to memorizing lines. Because if you're like, oh, but I don't have them memorized yet, it's like, okay, but you have to get away from it, right?
Yeah.
Like put it down ASAP. And I'm a voice actor and I don't have to memorize lines.
Yeah, I mean, it does help. But yeah, no, that's fair too. And I definitely felt that way, but there were just, I don't know, like that's been my whole life basically where I'm like, I'm struggling with X and then they give me like a neurotypical answer as to like how to deal with it. And I'm like, that sounds like that makes sense. And then I try to apply it and I can't fucking do it.
It don't work so well.
I can't focus long enough to do it, to
Right.
actually apply it. And for the longest time, I just like gave myself the hardest time. I was like, well, I guess I'm a lazy piece of shit. I guess I have bad work ethic. I guess, you know, I'm not as good as I think I am. And it's like, no, you may very well have an attention disorder.
Right.
Like that might be it. And, you know, it's freeing, but at the same time, it's like, what the fuck? This whole time. I've been doing this for years.
Well,
I've been doing this for years.
Question for you then. What was the pin drop moment? Like, when was like, you read something, you mentioned a tweet.
Yeah.
You mentioned, like, what was the thing that you read that made you go like 100% like, oh my God?
I read a tweet that, and I can't quote it verbatim, but it said something like, ADHD be like, okay, I'm going to go clean the kitchen. And on your way there, you pass the bookshelf and then the next thing you know, you're arranging your books in alphabetical order. And I was like, excuse you.
Like that's something you do.
Cameron, my CDs are to this day in alphabetical order by artist. Because one day I was supposed to be doing something and I looked at the shelf full of CDs and did that instead.
Wow.
And that's why my CDs are in alphabetical order in my room. Like I was like, I literally did that. And I remember one day, it happens to me all the time. One day I had a meeting with my collaborator. Like this was recently. I had a meeting with my collaborator Alton that I'm working on my show with. And we had a really good meeting and set some really good goals for each other. And I was like, okay, after this meeting, I'm going to do X. And I felt really good about it. and I log off the call, and I look down the hallway, and at the end, the office where I work in the house is on the top floor, and excuse me, because I live in a semi and it's very small. Direct on the other side of the hallway, like my office is at the end of the hallway, at the other end of the hallway is the bathroom. And I ended the call, looked up, looked down the hallway to the bathroom, and was like, I wonder if I am running out of hair products. I think I am. I think I need to get more hair products. And then the next thing you know, I was at Walmart, and I was standing in the middle of the aisle at Walmart, of the hair aisle at Walmart, being like, when the fuck did I wind up at Walmart? I was going to write. Like,
right.
I was going to write.
Yeah.
Why am I at Walmart? What happened?
Mm-hmm.
And it just like clicked for me that, and they mentioned ADHD, and then like ADHD stuff like kept showing up in Twitter, which is like so weird. I don't know.
That's algorithm.
I don't know if the algorithm picks up ADHD. It's like, oh, do you want to see ADHD posts? I got ADHD posts for you. Like, I feel like the algorithm is like,
no, you've been Googling
here's an
right?
ad that you, no, Cameron, no. At that point, I hadn't Googled it. It was just tweets about ADHD were popping up on my timeline. And I was like, okay, all of these ADHD tweets are sounding like me. But at the same time, like, Twitter is just people, right? Like, we've had this conversation, and I thought about that conversation when I saw all those tweets. I was like, okay, let's be rational. Let's look up a trusted, legitimate source so that I know that I'm not just listening to people who don't know shit about shit.
People who are just literally talking out of their assholes.
And probably self-diagnose themselves.
Yeah,
you
maybe.
And haven't seen or spoken to a doctor about this and are just talking about shit on Twitter.
Sure.
You know? Like, let's look into this for real. And I went to, I forget the name of the website, but it's like the Canadian...
You went to WebMD?
No, it's like the Canadian Association for Attention Deficit Disorder Clinic or something like that. It was an official Canadian resource about attention deficit disorder.
Right.
And they were, I clicked around on their website, and I found like a checklist that you're supposed to fill out and like take to your doctor. If you've like, you're supposed to talk to your doctor first, and then they send you to this website, the website that I found. And then you fill out the checklist, and then you send it to your doctor. And I was like, okay, well, let's just look at the checklist. Like, let's just check it out and see what kind of questions they ask. And like, don't even fill out the form. Just like, do like the Cosmopolitan quiz thing where it's like, if most of your answers are like, completely agree, then see what the results are. And because I said completely agree, or like, you know, I answered like often to the majority of the test.
Wow.
Like, I didn't count the numbers, but it was like, you know, if there were 10 questions on that checklist, then I was checking off more than 5. Like, I was saying, I was checking off agree completely on like more than 5 things kind of deal. And I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, this isn't a diagnosis, but this means something.
I mean, it's a trusted website.
It's a trusted resource, not some bullshit I found on Twitter. So like, what the fuck, man? Like, oh my God, you know, like they even brought up things like having a hard time focusing, not being able to finish assignments at school or at work, even when most of the hard work has been completed. Like, you have a hard time completing things, having difficulty finding the motivation to begin important tasks, even if you find them interesting or stimulating, sort of thing. And I was like, what the fuck? This is me all the time. Mm-hmm. Like, I would constantly, like, I took really interesting courses, and like my university offered really interesting courses.
Yeah.
I took a class about Beyonce, for fuck's sake. Like,
right, yeah.
Like, and those essays were, I found it so hard to get motivated to start them. And it's like, they're about Beyonce. I have so much prior knowledge about this before I even got to this class. You
barely need to crack open a textbook.
Yeah, this should be easy. And like, you know, here I am, starting the essay the week that it's due, you know?
yeah.
Like, starting to gather resources and shit like that. So it's like...
Well, ADHD and procrastination would go hand in hand.
Yeah, totally. At first I thought I was just a fucking lazy procrastinator, but turns out might have ADHD, might have actually something wrong with me.
Right.
So, like, that was relieving, but also just kind of annoying because, like, I knew that ADHD was, like I had read this a long time ago, that ADHD wasn't very commonly diagnosed in girls and people of color. And I fall under both categories, and just kind of like, it just kind of pissed me off. And I've just been having a lot of realizations as I, I'm in my mid 20s now, and I'm looking towards my 30s, which is like adultness to me. And just thinking about how I'm not that much younger than some of the people who were responsible for my care when I was a child.
Yeah.
And how those people, like, I trusted them so much, and they did so much dumb fucking shit that I would expect them to be better than. And this, like, realization that there was something wrong with me, that there had always been something wrong with me, and they didn't have the wherewithal to, like, look around. Like, at first a part of me wants to give them a little bit of a break, because, like, we're all human, and as I get older I realize that. But there's at the same time, it's like, but you were supposed to be paying attention to me. You were supposed to be paying attention to me, and you didn't. And you let this huge thing slide. And I had to suffer. I suffered because of it. My grades suffered. My self-esteem suffered. My ideas of self-worth suffered. My confidence suffered. Like, I suffered because of your negligence. And, I'm not going to hold your feet to I'm not going to fucking flame you forever for it.
Well, there's also some circumstances that I think you ought to consider.
But, like, pay fucking attention.
Well, see, okay, here's the thing. I'm not trying to defend anyone. You have a right to feel the way you feel.
Yeah.
And no one's trying to tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
But I think that where you can maybe give a little bit of leeway, in my humble opinion, is that when you were a kid, 15 years ago, 20 years ago now.
No, we'll stick with 15. Don't make it longer.
Sure, whatever. When you were younger, what we knew about mental health, and especially mental illness and mental disorder, was not what we know today. But
we had kids who had ADD at my school, though.
But here's the thing: but you probably didn't exhibit the same symptoms as those kids did.
Yeah.
Because as you discovered, your ADHD, it seems to be it's clearly something you like based on what the observations you made about yourself is clearly something you've been struggling with for your whole life.
Yeah.
But you really notice the symptoms in your adulthood, because adulthood ADHD manifests itself differently than childhood ADHD, or at least what you've been telling me.
Well, like, I've been staring off into space since I was a kid, and like it totally has bitten me in the ass when I'm doing like tests and assignments and stuff like that. And when I was like grade school.
And I'm not saying that. Yes, Sam, you're absolutely right. Like the people who were around you when you were a kid should have noticed that there was something off. But I think that there's a lot of extenuating circumstances.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, okay, put it this way, like, when you hear a kid back in the day, right? When you were a kid, you hear about a kid who has ADD, you think like a kid you think about the squirrel kid, And as much as that's a stereotype, that's what people believed.
Yeah.
It's not staring off into space. It's not looking at a blank piece of paper for an hour.
Yeah.
It is literally.
Yeah.
But that's not what they understood back then.
Yeah.
So yes, you're absolutely entitled to feel the way you feel. And I don't think that you're wrong for feeling the way you feel. I just think that it was almost like a perfect storm. Like the way it happened.
Yeah.
Because, maybe your parents and your teachers and whatever, maybe they just thought you're just like a quiet person. And obviously that was a bad call.
Yeah.
No one's trying to say that it isn't.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, like when it gets to the point where, like, I'm in elementary school, high school, middle school, and people are looking at me like, why can't you do this? Why are you having such a hard time with this? And I can't explain it. I kind of wish someone would be like, okay, well, I'm taking you to a doctor because I want to figure this out. I wish that the adults in my life had been a little bit more assertive when it came to these things, because I was obviously struggling, and I just wish an adult had been a little bit more of an adult. I feel like because I was more mature for my age, I could speak in a way that adults would respect. They would leave me alone more. Whereas if a kid who was exactly acting perfect for their age, they would have said I don't know, and then they'd be like, well, we're gonna find out why you're doing these things.
Right.
So
Yeah,
tough
okay.
nuts.
Yeah.
But because I was mature for my age, I could be like, well, I'm not really sure why, but I know I want to work harder at it. And then parents would be like, that's the right opinion to have. Good for you. Good talk. Good conversation. You want to get better.
Back in the basement.
You want to get better. Okay. We want to help you get better. We all want to see Sam do well. Perfect. We all agree. I'm nutshelling it here a lot, but that's basically how these conversations went.
Sure.
And then no one thought to like look any deeper where they're like, hey, so like, you said that you were going to like reach out and ask for help a little bit more and you're still getting D's in math and nothing's getting better. We're doing something about this. Like we're intervening, you know, like I just wish the adults had been a little bit more assertive in that sense. But yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Actually, I was thinking about this one time. So in my elementary school, you know, like you have picture day. And then you have retake day. If you don't like your pictures,
or if you missed picture day
or if you missed picture day or something, you can get retakes. So on retake day, the Life Touch photo people would come into the gym, but like less than, you know, a photo day, there's like 5 or 6 of them. Retake day, there's like 2. So retake day, the teachers would pick 1 or 2 students from the entire school who they thought were the most responsible and could afford to miss class the most because they were doing well enough.
Okay.
To be the kid, to be like, okay, like you would go around to the classrooms all day long. Like all day long. You missed a whole day of school. To go around the school to the different classrooms and say, okay, like Jerry, like it's your, like I'm here to collect so and so and so and so and so and so for retakes, take them down to the gym, like tell the photographers who's next, and then like get the kids' retakes photos taken. And one year in grade 6, my teacher chose me. And I was
what an opportunity.
I was so honored. I was like, this is the greatest thing this is the greatest honor that has been bestowed upon me in my short life.
It's the most amount of power you've ever had.
You think that my grades are good enough that I can miss an entire day of class. You think that I'm responsible enough to walk around the school without fucking around and like causing a nuisance for people. You think that I'm mature enough to basically do a job, you know? Like you're giving me a job. I'm 12. This is amazing.
Yeah.
This is such an honor. Thank you so much.
Sure.
So I'm like doing it, crushed it. Lunchtime comes and the photographers are like, okay, Sam, like really good job. Or no, it wasn't lunchtime. It was recess. This is before nutrition breaks were a thing. So you had like a 15-minute recess break and then an hour lunch and then a 15-minute recess break, in the afternoon. So first recess comes and, the Life Touch people are like, okay, well, like we don't like, you can stay here if you want, or you can go outside and play with your friends. And I wanted to be like really professional. Like I wanted to like look like I was above everything. So I was like,
no,
yeah, I'll stay inside.
I'll stay here with you.
I'll stay here with you. And she was like, okay, well, we're just going to eat lunch and stuff. You don't have to, like, you don't have to,
door.
like, you don't have to stay here. Like you can go outside with your friends if you really want. And they kept like pitching it to me. Like you can go outside with your friends.
They're basically,
you can go play.
They're trying to tell you to go outside.
We don't need you. You can go play. You want to go play? You can go play if you want.
What's this?
And I was like,
you want to go play?
I was like, no, I'm fine. And she's like, oh, okay, well, we can just, like, we're just going to eat lunch. And I was like, okay. And I literally stared at a wall for all of recess. I sat in the gym, faced the opposite wall, and stared at it. They must have thought I was so weird.
They thought you were insane or something.
They must have thought I was so weird.
Someone walks over, you're like, Sam, what are you doing? You're like, oh, hey, shut up.
And I'm just like my eyes are unfocused and I'm like staring at a wall. But I remember what I did that day. I daydreamed about Daniel Radcliffe.
Amazing.
For an entire recess. I just like unfocused. It was like, you know how in Inside Out, when the girl goes to sleep, they like turn on, like the emotions turn on a movie. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, brain, turn on a movie. And I just went pew Daniel, and like zoned out and stared at a wall and like dreamed about dating Daniel Radcliffe.
And you woke up and you were
for an entire recess.
You were caressing the wall in front of you.
Yeah. I was like licking the gym wall.
Oh, Daniel.
You are 12. Why do you have these feelings so soon?
And all those people are like,
what
the fuck is going on?
No, I remember when lunchtime came around, like the lady like came up to me and really was like, we don't need you during lunch. Go outside and play. Like, don't fucking do that ever again.
Like, stop. What are you doing? Like,
stop coming here. And I was like,
did they ever ask you to do that again?
Well, it was grade 6, so like that was the last picture day that I was ever going to have at that school.
Oh, that's right, because you had middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah, a guy went to K-8.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever have like milk delivery in your school?
It wasn't delivered. You had to go get it.
We had actual
but
like
kids did like stand. I remember your mom saying that she did that. Like she did milk day.
No, Mom did pizza day.
Okay.
So at my school, there's a couple things. At elementary school, every Friday was pizza day, and every pizza day there was like you can get like milk. So because there was this huge thing like they wanted kids to drink more milk.
Yeah.
So you could sign up, and like I guess my parents would probably had to pay a little bit.
Yeah.
Pay the $2 or whatever it was.
Yeah, you pay like a toonie
to get a slice of pizza and a carton of milk.
Yeah.
So more often than not, I would be the kid who actually got like the bags, like those big blue and white totes, to like go around from classroom to classroom and be like, "Got your milk? Like here's your milk."
Right.
And I did that all the time. It's actually really funny. I remember just a couple of years ago, right before we graduated, I was at Chainsaw.
Okay.
The old bar, which no longer exists anymore.
R.I.P. Chainsaw.
R.I.P. Chainsaw. It was the only bar I liked.
Yeah.
In the world.
True.
As a matter of fact, it was the only
like
bar
ever,
I enjoyed.
Ever.
Seriously, like honest to God. So I was there, and this kid who, God bless you if you listen to this, like thank you for doing this, but I had no idea who you are. Walked up to me and he was like, "You're Cameron Smith, right?" And I was like, "I am." And I'm like, "Who are you?" And then he said his name, and I did not recognize him. And I was like,
no.
Well, I didn't want to be rude, right? So I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, man. Like, how you been?" And then I started to piece together that he was in elementary school the same time I was.
Yeah.
And he remembered me as like the 8th grader who like came into his 5th grade class or whatever to like give him milk and make jokes and make the teacher laugh and like make the other students laugh and stuff.
That's so cute.
Right? I was very touched by that.
Yeah.
And I was like, so cool that you just hang on to that for another 10 years.
Yeah.
But
Oh my God.
and I was like, "Aces, man, like, hey, enjoy the night." Because I was actually leaving. I was on my way out, and he bumped into me. So yeah, apparently he goes to either Laurier or Waterloo now.
That's adorable.
And is in Kitchener, I assume.
That's so cool. Wow,
Right,
who
so
would have thought?
Shout out to whoever that was. I apologize, I don't know your name.
That your paths like converged.
Right?
All those years later. That's really funny. I started talking to somebody I went to, elementary, middle, and high school with. Damn. We started following each other on Twitter, and I think that she's really funny and cool. Always did. And then for like stupid reasons, like I just never hung out with her proper in elementary school, middle, or high school because you're a dumb idiot back then. And I what did I tweet about? I made some comment like
What did I tweet about? It could be the title of your biography.
Oh, I know what it is. I tweeted I tweeted some ignorant ass comment about how like I spell things properly, and like if you pay attention to my text messages, you'll like learn how to spell.
I saw this, yeah.
And
because you like to fucking correct everybody.
No, I don't. I just think that like if you see somebody spell something differently than the way that you've always spelled a word, maybe like pay attention and like look it up because they're probably spelling it right.
Right.
Or double check to make sure that you have been spelling it right this whole time and that person's an idiot, just like learn to spell.
Yeah. Okay.
Just learn to spell, basically.
Sure.
So I tweeted that and she was like, I have this like memory of you. And of course it's Twitter, right? So you can't just like write the whole thing out. She had to write it out in like chunks. So she was like, I have this very specific memory of you, ... And I was like,
like what?
What?
That is probably that is the single most ominous thing that anyone could ever say to you, though.
Yeah, she later said like, "Sorry, I didn't want to pique your anxiety, so I was like trying to type really, really fast. I was trying to type with the memory so fast because I knew that was going to give you anxiety." And I was like, "Okay,
that's considerate.
That's fine. And like it was a middle school memory. Basically, there was this English teacher that I really liked. She didn't like her, but I really liked her. And she was talking about this commercial where like two people are driving on a really rocky road, like arguing about vowels.
Okay.
Which is so weird.
Why is a vowel sometimes? They said it's a vowel sometimes. But it's not a vowel. It's only a vowel sometimes.
The letter Y. Sorry. You mean the letter Y? I thought you said like Y, like W-H-Y. Y is a vowel sometimes. That's not a sentence.
No, it's A-E-I-O-U and sometimes Y.
Why is that?
But the Y is the contentious one.
Yeah.
And that's the one people argue about.
Yeah.
You're saying.
Anyways, so like she was like, yeah, like I remember like this car commercial and she was talking about it and how she didn't understand it. And then you piped up and said, oh, I think I understand it. It's not so much about the conversation that they're having. It's just proving that you can have a conversation on a rocky road and the car will stay quiet on the inside. Like they're advertising how quiet their car is. And that just, I think about that memory like at least once a week sometimes about you because you've just always been such a smart cookie. And I was like, thank you so much.
It's because you are a smart cookie.
You're so nice.
Yeah.
And my ego is like 10 times so inflated.
So now, are you going to ride that high forever?
Oh, I've been like just fucking riveted off of that high for the last like day and a half.
I actually brushed my teeth last night and I came into the bedroom and you were squeezing both your nipples saying like, I'm a smart cookie.
I'm a smart cookie.
I'm such a smart cookie.
I'm so smart.
And I'm like, baby, you're turning the bathroom. And you're like, get out!
I'm so smart I can't get cavities. I don't have to brush my teeth because I'm fucking smart.
Tell me about your very specific memory. Like,
but I think about that all the time. Like I think about how I think about certain memories that I have of classmates of days past and how I am that for other people. And like, do people ever think about me? I guess so.
Sometimes.
As the other day
you made
proved.
an impact on people's lives.
Yeah, but like, you know, you always think of it's something that other people do to you, not something that you do to other people. But you do exist in people's memories. And that is so, it's cool, but it's also so strange to me.
Well, it's funny, right? Because like, I don't know about you. Allow me to be sad for once. I'm going to be sad.
Okay.
To be honest with you, in my youth, I spent a lot of time being embarrassed about myself. Just like embarrassed, like, and for nothing in particular. That was the weird part.
Just being a kid.
Like, if you talk to anyone I went to elementary school with, I'm sure there's maybe some people who are like, yeah, he was weird once. But like, for the most part, I'm sure people thought I was just fucking normal, like anybody else, right? And I'm sure that I was. But I had such low self-esteem at times and such low confidence at times that I spent so much time being ashamed of like literally everything. Especially in elementary school where like all my friends were like skinny, cool, and athletic and like, you know, like I just wasn't.
Yeah.
I was like this big sort of tubby.
You were athletic though. You were on football.
Not in elementary school.
Oh, in elementary school. Okay.
You know, I was kind of a tubby kid and I was weird and I was awkward and like, yeah, I made people laugh, but like learning how to make people laugh, I found out was the only thing that I was like anyway halfway good at. So I just sort of like latched onto that and like made it work. And now I do a podcast where I hopefully make people laugh. The sad part though, to be honest, and I'm not sad about it really, but it is sad to think about sometimes, is like I spent so much time being ashamed of myself in like elementary school and in the early years in high school that I really don't have memories of that anymore.
That really is the curse.
It's gone.
Of
Like
being self-conscious is, and you know, people tell you this, but you never really internalize it until it's too late. You waste time when you do that. And I'm really trying to acknowledge that and really learn that lesson now. So that like for the rest of my life, I can maybe just like value myself a little bit more.
Yeah.
And just like stop like, yeah, I'm insecure. Okay. I'm insecure.
I think we all are.
On some level, we all are. I have to stop letting that make me quiet in situations where like my voice is valuable and people do want to hear me and like hearing me, you know? I mean, like starting this podcast is like the culmination of all of that, where, you know, like podcasting is a very saturated industry and people make fun of people who do it all the time. And are you going to rise above that and make your own voice heard despite all of the negativity around being a millennial and starting a podcast?
Sure.
And it's just like, yeah, like this is me fighting it right now, honestly. Like I'm trying to be more confident. I'm trying to recognize my strengths because while we were busy being insecure about how weird we were forgetting that there are things that we're good at every day that no one else can do. You know, like we bring something to the table. You and I both.
It's so easy to diminish your own contribution to your life. Yeah. It's so easy.
And I'm trying not to do that anymore, you know? It's funny. I was helping you to kind of this is turning it back to you, but this is a good example of this. You were writing a letter to a potential agent that you wanted to represent you. And the original email that you wrote was very much like, well, I don't have a lot of experience, but I really want to try. Like that was the overall.
I'm a real go-getter.
Yeah, that was the overall like vibe from the email that you wrote. And you sent it to me because you wanted my opinion on it. And I flipped it around on you and I said, okay, I understand what you're going for here, but you said something like, oh, like, I can't do many accents. I can do like a Southern accent and a bit of a British accent. And I was like, don't say I can't do many accents. Just say the things that you can do. You can do a Southern accent. You can do a British accent. And for the record, Cameron, you can also do like a Brooklyn Bronx accent because it's literally in your demo reel, which I have heard.
Yeah.
I know that you have that. So say like, this is me. This is what I can do. I can do these accents. You were like, you also wrote that, you have gotten some voice acting things here and there on certain, free to play websites for voice actors, for voice talent. And I was like, don't say that. Say that you are self-motivated and you work for 8 hours a day, which you do. You literally do that. Like you
I try anyway.
Spend 8 hours a day on these websites, like filling out applications, doing auditions, trying to find work for yourself. So you would make an excellent client to have representation because you also put in the work ethic. Okay, like if they find you work, you will go and you will give your all at auditions and you will display a good, positive attitude that people will want to work with. That's a strength that you have.
Thank you for saying that.
I completely believe it. And we talk it down when we talk about ourselves because we have self-esteem issues. I do the same thing sometimes. This is sounding very like you do this, you do this, you.
No, I get it.
I'm bringing it up because I also do the same thing when I write my own emails about myself. It's easy for me to turn around on you and look at your emails and say you need to do this, but like I do the same freaking thing where it's like
we think we're being humble.
Yeah, but really all we're doing is sort of we're minimizing ourselves. We're saying, oh well, like I kind of do this one thing sometimes. And like as I get older and I really want to make things start happening for myself, I want to say, no, it's not, oh, I can kind of do this if I want to, like my Michael Cera impression. It's like, no, I am a writer. I can write. I'm good at writing dialogue. I've received compliments from people who write professionally that I write good dialogue. Okay. I'm good at writing dialogue. I can, I'm good at social media. Like I run Chill Spot's social media. I am at the helm of that aspect of a channel for myself. And if I'm applying for a job, like I can bring it to another company. I can bring it to another thing. Like, I can do these things, I have skills. This whole time I've been thinking that I don't have skills. No, I have skills. I'm just too busy poo-pooing them and making them seem smaller and less good than they actually are, that I'm not doing anything for myself.
Because you know what it is? Like, so on that same vein, and exactly what you're talking about, there's so much of learning how to get your voice out there. And this goes for not even just being an artist and not even being like an actor or a writer. Like, honestly, like being an entrepreneur and also having your own business. Like, you have to bother people and you have to know yourself in a sentence.
Yeah.
You have to like have an elevator speech for yourself, right? But to go back to what you were talking about. So like you could put this on your resume because it's not a lie. You could legit be like, I run a social media for a I don't know,
entertainment channel.
For even you could for an entertainment duo or something, right?
Yeah.
If you really wanted to spruce it up and maybe tell like a white lie where it's like we're not necessarily lying, but like you don't
it's
necessarily
just it's got a small following.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I could be like, oh, I edit for a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But they don't know necessarily edit Let's Plays.
Yeah.
No, like but even then, like a part of editing and like you said, social media is like you learn that in order for this to float, you have to be at least halfway decent at it. You have to learn how it works, right? So yeah, I mean, you are making skills.
Yeah.
Duncan actually mentioned this about Duncan's my brother, about the two of us, and then I think this is a very nice thing for him to say. But like when we do stuff like this, like you just said, we're working on many skills.
Yeah.
And then should an opportunity come up that applies to one of them or two of them, we can jump at it and say like, oh, we have experience in this, we could do it.
Yes.
And like learn.
Yes. That's literally how I started working for this like dramaturgical firm that my former professor is working with right now.
Yeah.
I was I'm helping them with their social media stuff because I said, yeah, I currently run a YouTube channel, podcast, like Twitch channel with my partner. I do all the social media. This is what I do. And I explained about how I set up our social media posts for the week and how I brainstorm them and work on them. And his partner was like, that sounds good. Let me bring you on. And now I'm fucking working with amazing people. Like I'm working with professionals who want to help me. I can't reach.
Give me a better high five.
You've got to. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, and look where it got me, like I just said, I do X. I can do X. And then someone was like, we need X. And I was like, perfect. Let me work for you. And, just like no imposter syndrome bullshit here this time, mate. Like I deserve to be here. I can bring something of value to this table. Like straight up.
You know what this means, Sam?
Yeah.
Now, for the first time in Chill Spot history, folks, we actually believe in ourselves. 70 episodes, we've been telling each other to believe in ourselves, telling you at home to believe in ourselves. So, you know what, motherfuckers? We actually believe in ourselves now.
We out here.
So it's up to you at home to believe in your goddamn self now.
Absolutely.
If we can do it, if the two biggest sad sacks on the internet can do it, you can go home and fucking believe in yourself.
Yeah. And like, it's not like this all the time, right? Like, we all have our bad days, but I'm just trying to take the bad days as they come, acknowledge that they're bad days, acknowledge the feeling, okay, I'm feeling shitty. I don't think I'm going to be feeling not shitty anytime soon, but let's not do anything drastic. Let's just feel shitty.
Yeah.
Let's just feel shitty.
Let's just let the shit fly.
Yeah, exactly.
Let the shit flow.
Let the shit flow,
Right on the floor.
Like a toilet, just let it flow. And it helps. It really, really helps. And, like, I thought I had to do all this shit. I thought I considered going back to school because I didn't have any skills. It's like, no, I had skills. I just wasn't acknowledging them as skills because I have self-esteem issues, you know? Like, oh my God.
You think you're skillless when in fact you and I both have degrees in a thing that offers us a myriad of skills that we've learned over, for me, 5 years, for you, 4? No, we graduated at the same time.
Yeah.
So 5 years, both of us.
4 years. Yeah. 4 years and a semester.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way.
Everyone
at home listening to this podcast, you know who you are. Believe in yourself. Actually, this time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. And it's really empowering once you realize it, just think about the things that you do every day. You probably have a skill, like a marketable skill at this point. You probably do. And you're probably just being hard on yourself or being mean to yourself or counting yourself out in a way that's unfair to you. And that's just not cool. So just stop doing that.
Stop doing that.
Stop doing that to yourself.
Listen to more Chill Spot and stop doing that.
I read a really good post on Tumblr today.
Pull it up.
About like stop having imposter syndrome and start saying that you have like getting away with it. Here it is. It said, my life has been so much better ever since I traded my imposter syndrome to brilliant con man syndrome. Do I deserve anything in life? Fuck no. Will I grasp it anyway? Fuck yes. My art has never been worth shit, but watch me bullshit my way into art school. I am a horrid goblin, but watch me make these people like me. Am I qualified to do this task? Well, I sure have the certificates that say I am. And how did I get these? Who knows? Not me. I am so good at cheating, I don't have to break a single rule to do it. I am brilliant, fast, and absolutely drunk with power. And yeah, exactly. Like if that's how you have to trick your brain into like acknowledging that you have skills, then yeah, just like call yourself a con man. Just be like, what? Oh, you bought that? Holy shit.
Yeah, totally.
Oh my God.
Totally.
Yeah, let me just con my way into a 15, 20, 30, 45-year career.
Yeah, exactly. Out of yourself.
Yeah.
And also like a big thing for me is believing what people tell you.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that for me for the longest time, like it could be a total stranger being like, "Oh, this is cool," and I'll be like, "Whatever, you're lying to me because you secretly want to see me fail. So like, if you lift me up, you'll laugh when I die, or what? Being extreme and dramatic, of course, but like." For me, it's like, yeah, because I've been doing lots of voice jobs and stuff. I've been worried about like, oh, like, is the vocal quality good? Is the voice good? Like, all these things I like to worry about. And then I'll send it off, get all nervous, be like, God, like I tweaked this and it sounds different.
Yeah.
And then I get a message back, be like, oh, it's great, dude, thanks.
And you also get compliment. You say that. See, you're counting yourself out even more now because you have been receiving compliments left, right, and center about your setup and how you do the audio and like video and stuff for Chill Spot and like our Twitch channel and our podcast and stuff all the time. Like you get people legit saying like, oh man, I wish I had your audio set up, or like you told me that somebody messaged you that and was like, hey, like I'm thinking of starting a podcast myself. Can you tell me what you do to your audio, because it always sounds so clear and so good.
Right.
And I know that you just operate out of your basement. And we even got those compliments when we had like Yetis, like before we had the good microphones that we use right now. Like, we were getting compliments on our setup because we just tried, like we had the blanket fort, we sat super still all the time.
Yeah, really, try not to move.
We did a million fucking sound checks before we recorded until we got the perfect sounding audio. Like we put the work in, and it shows, I mean, you put most of the work in when it comes to the tech stuff. You really took to it quickly and figured it out.
Well, that's okay. That's always been my bag.
Yeah.
That's what I excel at.
Man, thank God. Because I'm trying to learn, because it's just good to know how to do these things.
Well, it's nice to know when I ask you to plug in the soundboard or turn on a light that you can do that.
Yeah.
As opposed to being like,
Yeah. But you really are like the tech god.
I mean, the god, okay. No. But a lot of relationships, in terms of like media stuff, tend to go like that, right? Like, there are things that you are good at that I'm not good at.
Like what? Like tell me. Like say it. Like record it.
Like, why don't you tell everyone? Oh,
why don't you tell everyone?
You're way better at social media than I was, hands down.
Yeah.
You have doubled our follower count since you've taken over.
That's
you know that?
I have.
Even our Twitter, not so much, but like Instagram, like we've gotten more followers in the past like 4 months of you being on social media for us than I have in a year of operating the damn thing.
True, I did do that.
So
I did do that.
Take your fucking credit, girl.
Yeah.
Take it and eat it. Fucking eat it.
Fucking.
All right. Well, I've had enough compliments for one day.
Yeah. Yeah. Are we done jerking each other off?
Yeah. We just finished up. And we're good.
And we
all feel good.
We're just glowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're in the afterglow.
But wow. I didn't realize this, but I guess that's a podcast then, Sam.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what this podcast was about.
If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to like us on any streaming platform you can. On Apple Podcasts, you can leave a review, which really, really helps. It actually helps us like move up and take over the other Chill Spot podcasts.
If you want to see us chart, leave us a review. That's how it goes.
That would be dope as hell.
Yeah.
If you listen to us on YouTube, be sure to like the video if you liked it and dislike it if you didn't.
No, don't dislike it. Don't do that.
If you're new here,
just leave it alone. If you didn't like it.
If you're new here, you can always check our video description to check out our link tree.
Yes.
And be sure to subscribe.
Yes.
You can follow us on Twitch for Twitch streams as well, because we do lots of stuff on there.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you watch our Let's Plays and you listen to our podcast, you will enjoy Twitch, because it's the same. It's just that for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So.
And you don't even need to talk. You can just lurk. Like, lurkers are cool, man.
Yeah, we love our lurkers.
Lurkers are workers, dude. All right, guys, listen. The Chill Spot podcast uploads every Tuesday at 3 p.m. on YouTube, a little bit earlier on streaming services. So we'll see y'all next week.
Be nice and take care.
Bye.
Bye.